like the Garden was totally sold out. I don't know about you. I don't know. It was.
I didn't see any empty seats. Yeah,
Neither did I.
seem
I'm
like it.
Why do they have empty seats at the Coliseum? Believe me, they could sell every seat at the Coliseum. And both fan bases were insane last night. The Islander fans were incredible from start to finish. They never stopped. And what an unbelievable performance. And the performance that sticks out in that particular series is Sidney Crosby's and how they bottled him up and how he was -3 on the night. And I know Anthony Beauvillier got beat by Jeff Carter on defense to lead to the Penguins' first goal, but then he came back, and that kid really, I'm telling you, he is like bouncing off the TV. Like, he's out there. That puck finds him, and he and his line mates, Nelson and Bailey, had an unbelievable night last night, and it was great to see it. It was great to just see the fans just insane. You're right. I mean, when you watch these games and you watch the Knicks fan, you watch the Islander fan, and you watch how they are reacting to their teams, it just goes to show you how long this pandemic has been and what a pain in the ass it has been. And these fan bases, and I'm part of one of them anyway, and my son-in-law plays for the other team, it's just incredible to watch.
Yeah,
they have not, neither one has stopped. I think the Knicks fan is still yelling defense right now this morning.
Yeah, they could still be out in the street. I mean, they spilled out into the streets last night after the game. There's videos of people screaming and chanting stuff.
It's kind of like what we need around here, especially for the Knicks. The Knicks are New York's team. I don't care. And I know the Nets are great, and I know they're probably going to win a championship. But New York, the Knicks are New York's team. I don't care what anybody says. And a healthy New York Knicks franchise just raises the morale of everybody around here.
Yeah.
And you could see that again last night. Now, I will say, what do I hate in the NBA?
Oh, the three-point shot.
Right. And last night, again, it's a three-point shot fest. And let's face it, Atlanta missed a lot of open shots.
They did in the second half, yeah.
Yeah, they missed it.
Terrible.
It's about as simple as that. It comes down to whether or not, Bogdanovich or Gallinari or Williams or one of those guys is going to be dropping threes. Trae Young, are they going to be dropping threes? If they are, they're basically, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to beat them. But last night they were off, and they were off especially late in the game. And the Knicks found, a little bit of touch. They got to the free throw line last night. And, Julius Randle found his game finally in the second half. It's just been a grind for him. It's just been really a grind for him, and they're trying to do everything they can to take him away. And I understand that, but great assist to Taj Gibson late in the game last night. That was great. You saw Bullock, and you saw and you saw Burks finally get involved a little bit. But again, to me, I watched that game last night. It's like Atlanta missed a lot of threes.
Oh, they did, and it wasn't all the Knicks' defense. The Knicks' defense was better than it was in Game 1, but there was open shots that were missed. I mean, Bogdanovich went ice cold, and he didn't stop shooting. He was just getting the ball. He was heaving it up there, and it didn't matter. He was trying to get back on track, and he kept missing and missing and missing. And the Hawks built their lead. They got it up to 15 in the first half because they were hitting those threes. I mean, there was one point where they were over 50% from three early on in the game, and then that completely changed. I mean, so sometimes you break down these games, and there's a lot of intricacies. Last night it was basically Julius Randle woke up, and the Hawks missed a bunch of shots. That was it. That's what happened. Reggie Bullock also was great. Not only offensively, but defensively, he did the best job on Trae Young out of anybody so far in these two games.
Well, they were 12 of 22 from three-point land. That would be the Atlanta Hawks. And let's face it, Trae Young still, he still had his numbers. He's still going to get...
A lot of it was the first half.
I know that, but again, he is going to get guys open shots, and if they hit them, they're going to win. If they don't, then they lose the game. I bet you they went back on their plane last night. They probably watched the video. Players like to do this now on the iPads and all that other stuff. And they're just looking at it and saying, man, that's an open three miss, that's an open three miss, that's an open three miss, They literally had like 10 open threes missed. I mean, they weren't even close.
Well, that's the way they play. It's the way a lot of teams play, and they're going to run into games like this, and you got to take advantage, and you hope that there's a couple more for the Hawks, a couple more duds where they end up going ice cold from three. But there's probably going to be another game in this series where they continue throughout the entire game like they were hitting them in the first half. Let's hope that there's not. But that's really the up and down nature. And that's one of the reasons why I love the Knicks coming into this series, because of their consistency. They don't rely on that. They're not one of those teams that has to have that spectacular hot shooting night to win a basketball game.
And by the way, the last 5 minutes of the game, did you see who was on the court for the Knicks?
The last 5 minutes.
The last 5 minutes of the court of the game. It was the veterans.
Well,
all the veterans were out there.
Well, it's the starters other than Elfrid Payton is what it was, right?
Right. So, but there was no Quickly, there was no Toppin, and Quickly's great, but it gets a little haywire every now and again, and he'll bomb a three, and if it goes in, great. If not, he'll have a turnover. He's not refined yet,
Sure.
He's energy, yes, and when it's going in for him and it's working, it's exciting. But you saw you had to have Alec Burks, you had to have Reggie Bullock, you had to have those guys on the court. Derrick Rose again, just an awesome night, and you could just see he's like turned back the hands of time. As long as he doesn't have to play Trae Young, as long as he can stay away from him, it's fine. And that's one of the reasons why I think Thibodeau just kept all those guys out there. When I saw that team on the court last night, last 5 minutes, that's Julius Randle and a bunch of just hardcore NBA players. It's Taj Gibson, it's Derrick Rose, it's Alec Burks, it's Reggie Bullock, and it's him.
Yeah, well,
even Nerlens Noel wasn't out there.
No, he was not. So it wasn't the starters, because Taj Gibson was out there, who played more minutes than we've seen him play, because Nerlens Noel not 100%, and Taj Gibson was great. He was absolutely great.
So what is Tom Thibodeau telling you?
I mean, he's telling you that these are the guys that he trusts in crunch time. Yeah,
he put his best veteran NBA sharpshooting, defensive playing, hardcore, valuable veterans that are playing major, important minutes at the end of the game. He did not want to. He's not going to put Ntilikina out there again. He's not going to put Peyton out there again. He's not going to put Quickly out there again in situations like that where they have the lead.
Sure.
I mean, it was lockdown time. It was lockdown time, and make everything hard for Trae Young. Try to double him. A couple times I thought they had him doubled, and they called that one foul on I think it was on Reggie Bullock, and I was like, come on, man, it should have been a jump ball.
Yeah,
but it was that was the adjustment, at least in my eyes, that Thibodeau made, because they still having a hell of a time with the pick and roll. They're having a hell of a time with Trae Young floating down the middle of the lane.
It's almost impossible to stop. It really is. It's almost like you got to give him that, and then try to make sure that the rest of the team doesn't go off from three. I mean, that's basically
really what it comes down. What it comes down to.
And they didn't, and they missed a bunch of shots. The Hawks did in the second half, but the Knicks hadn't looked like the Knicks until about midway through in the third quarter, this entire series. I mean, even when they came back in game one, it wasn't really them, because Julius Randle was non-existent in game one, and he was even worse, quite frankly, in the first half of last night's game.
Yeah, it was good yesterday. He got the Most Improved Player award from his son, and
yeah, that was great.
That is a memory that will last a lifetime for Julius, and that's what it's all about. I mean, his son's got the braids and everything. And
it's great,
walking out there. It's just absolutely awesome.
Yeah, the kid's got a little bit of personality, too, already. You could tell.
He does. But I will say that, it was a game that they, that we were talking yesterday, must win Wednesday. They had to win that game yesterday.
Yeah, of course.
There's no choice. They had to win the game. And I think the Islanders found themselves in the same way. Well, the Islanders have found themselves a goalie. That is for sure. This is Sorokin's net, and I know they were talking about it a little bit last night on the national broadcast that Varlamov is still there, and he may still get an opportunity depending on, assuming that Sorokin stays healthy. But, man, that kid is flexible. He's athletic. He makes unbelievable saves. And, even 2 of the 3 goals last night were deflections. There's really not much he could do about it. One hit off of a guy right in front of him. But, they shut down Sidney Crosby, man. They shut him down. And, there's going to be a lot of questions being asked, I'm sure, in Pittsburgh. The question will be whether or not their coach gets fired.
Yeah, because he's someone who's got 2 Stanley Cup championships on his resume, but also now 3 first-round exits in a row with a group that should not be leaving in the first round every single year.
And the other thing about last night, and I know I screwed it up early in the morning. For some reason, I get Zaka and Zajac screwed up. But
That's
anyway,
a couple Z's.
But I'm telling you, Travis Zajac, man, he played a key role in last night's game on Pulak's goal. He won the faceoff, and he got it back, and Pajot got it and got it to Pulak, and Pulak scores. And, Travis Zajac had, I think it was plus 2 or 3 last night, but he had 2 assists. So, there's a veteran presence who comes into the game. He's a natural center, plays wing, but can also play center when he's on a strong hand. And he won a couple of faceoffs last night and played a smart, well-rounded game. And as they were saying at the beginning of the game, it's nice to have a veteran who has played a lot of games. You haven't seen him in an Islander uniform until today or last night. And a lot of people say, well, why would you trade for that guy? Well, you traded for that guy for moments like last night. And he came through in a big way last night, as did Brock Nelson and Josh Bailey. So on to Boston. And here's the thing. Boston has a much better goalie than the Pittsburgh Penguins did. Penguins goalie fell apart in this series. Gave up a lot of goals, a lot of bad goals. Tuukka Rask will be a lot better. And their defensive structure will be a lot better. And, of course, they probably have the second or third best offensive line in their first line with Bergeron and obviously Pasternak and Marchand. So they're going to have their hands full, and it's going to be physical because Boston's always physical. So get ready, buckle up. It's going to be another great series.
Yeah, when's game 1 of that series?
They haven't said yet. It's probably going to be not until next week because you still have some other series that are trying to get finished.
Yeah.
And you have, the North Division got started late. That between Toronto and Montreal. You have Minnesota and Vegas now going to a Game 7. Tampa moves on last night, and as they wiped out Florida 4-0. But to me, the team in the NHL right now to beat is going to be the Avalanche. They are either the Avalanche or the Tampa Bay Lightning. Both of those teams are absolutely loaded.
You picked the Bruins to go to the Cup final when I asked you a couple weeks ago, so you really got all your bases covered.
And that's what I said.
Yeah. So, but now you got the Lightning and
I'm just saying the Lightning and the Avalanche are loaded.
Yeah.
They are loaded, and they got goalies, and and I would say that the Avalanche, their number one line is by far, but the best line in hockey right now.
There is a picture from last night that the Post has, and I don't know if it's a picture that they took or whatever, but it's the one that they're using on the nypost.com, the Mike Vaccaro column. That is just tremendous. It's one of the great sports pictures of the year, and it's when the clock is running out at the Garden. Derrick Rose is clapping back to the fans who are cheering. The ball is on the ground. You've got the fans in the background. And then you got Bogdan Bogdanovic with his hands on his hips with his face looking like, oh, God. It is absolutely tremendous.
It's going to be that way down in Atlanta, too, when the Knicks go down there to play them.
It won't be like that intense.
But I will say that
the Atlanta Hawks fans compared to the Knicks fans a little bit different, don't you think?
It just goes to show you how both leagues last year in the bubble had to somehow generate enough excitement and enough intensity to play in these playoff games that they all played in last year. And now you see the difference when they're playing, either on the road, when the Islanders were in Pittsburgh, or when the Pittsburgh Penguins had to come here and play at the Nassau Coliseum. And again, those guys were talking about on the national broadcast just how loud it was in that Coliseum last night. That must have been an unbelievable party. That had to be an unbelievable party.
In both places. I mean, this is what we've all been waiting for, is what happened last night.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.